What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever episode 2 of Ready's Player One podcast. I'm your host, Ready Edgemont. Just in case you're joining us for the first time ever, Ready's Player One podcast is a new podcast that is all about PC gaming. If you like what you hear, you can find me on Twitter and on YouTube at Ready Edgemont. And if you like the show and want new episodes go live every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. But enough with housekeeping. Let's go and jump into the news. So, for news this week, we have 5 items. First item on the news comes from PC Gamer, and it's an article from Andy Chalk about Rust. So, Rust will be leaving early access in February, but it is not finished yet. Quote, "The multiplayer survival game Rust debuted on Steam in December of 2013. Now, here we are in 2018, and wow, it's still there? Not for much longer, however, because it's, believe it or not, creator Gary Newman announced today, which in the time of the article was the 23rd, announced today that it will go into its full release on February 8th. Predictably, Newman said that development will continue after the 1.0 release, but the update schedule will change from weekly to monthly to help reduce the likelihood of, quote, rushing in features and fixes that end up breaking something else. For those who prefer to live dangerously, a staging branch of the game will with daily updates will exist alongside the stable main branch. It's basically a PTR, or public test Rust, if you like, that will never go away." So this is kind of interesting, first off, because I've been playing Rust since 2013. It is something that I've enjoyed a lot and played with some of my good friends, and actually played so much it almost ended, and then actually successfully ended a relationship of mine at the time. I think this is good news, though, because being able to get out of this staging ground and have it move into alpha means that there's going to be some more stability on the servers. As of now, if you were to play, servers wipe every 2 weeks, and for some of the role-playing servers and other servers where there's kind of more stuff going on with people, clans, whatnot, it'd be interesting to see kind of a more stable long-term Rust and how that might affect gameplay and kind of story arcs. If you ever want to read anything interesting on Rust, I would highly recommend going to our website, 606.net, and going into Corner 31. My good friend Seamus O'Malley wrote a couple good Rust memoirs about our first times in Rust and what that was like. And Rust has changed a lot since 2013. I like to think for the better, but some people liked Legacy Rust more. But it's definitely growing a lot. It's good to see Gary Newman and the guys over at Face Punch being able to get out of alpha. And it has been a long time, 5 years, but at least it's been playable. Can't say that for some other games that I've been looking forward to. Not sure if anybody is a big fan of Mountain Blade, but Mountain Blade Bannerlord has been announced since 2012, and they still haven't even released anything, so it's been a while, both for Rust and for Mountain Blade, but it's kind of cool to see this, and I'm looking forward to the stories and definitely jumping into seeing how this works out once it releases. So, as the story said, full release is expected on February 8th. In addition to that, Newman was quoted as saying, quote, "Business as usual is how Newman described it, but there will be price increases from a $20 charge on Steam to $35. Quote, "It sucks it's going to cost more, but this is always the deal, and it's not like we're increasing the price to $60 without any warning," he wrote. "This is one of the main reasons we've decided to post this blog rather than quietly slipping out of early access. We felt this is something you'll all want to be warned about." End quote. So yeah, if you haven't gotten into Rust yet and you're looking to, I would highly recommend getting in before February 8th so you can get it at the $20 price point before they raise the price. And speaking of price raises, that brings us to our second story of the day. This article comes from Kotaku. Article is called "Longtime Players Feel Burned by Rainbow Six Siege's Upcoming Loot Boxes." So, quote, "Rainbow Six Siege players aren't happy after Ubisoft announced the game's next event, Outbreak, will include character items that can only be found in special new loot boxes. As you might imagine, longtime players are not thrilled." Now, one of the things that is really getting people upset about this is the change in payment system. So, this is also from the Kotaku article, quote, "In the blog post yesterday explaining how loot boxes will work, Ubisoft also said that it is changing the way it sells Siege. The game's standard $40 edition is being removed from the market, replaced with a $60 advanced edition that includes 600 R6 credits and 10 Outbreak packs valued at $30 total. If you want to spend more money, a $90 edition will include all all of this plus the Year 3 pass, while a $120 complete edition will include Year 1 and Year 2 content as well. So I'll post on the YouTube video a little screen cap of the breakout that Rainbow Six, their comparison chart. This is kind of upsetting, especially because Rainbow Six Siege was kind of the underdog when it came to games as a service, because when Rainbow Six Siege first launched, it was kind of a very quiet launch. Not a lot of people talked about it, but a couple years out, looking at it, it really seemed like Rainbow Six Siege, and at least Ubisoft for that matter, had grown a big enough fan base, and people were actually interested enough to come in and stay a part of this community. And now it just kind of seems like Ubisoft is screwing its long-term members. There are a couple of good quotes and stories out on Reddit. So there was a user on Reddit named Liquid7778, and he said, quote, "I found out today that in your Outbreak event, you're releasing Outbreak packs that can only be obtained through spending real-world money on virtual currency. Not only that, but the people who are buying your newly $60 game are going to be receiving $10 more of those packs than someone like me who has been there every step of the way, giving you money, supporting your game, letting everybody and their mother know that Siege is the game to play and you need to buy it now. That's terrible. I feel truly cheated as a customer and as a supporter of your game." The Kotaku article goes on to say, after quoting Liquid7778, that this sentiment was widely shared enough to make the pricing changes and the new Outbreak loot boxes the topic du jour throughout the games community, with lots of other people chiming in to convey similar feelings. So yeah, this is pretty upsetting, especially because I thought Ubisoft was finally reaching a renaissance of sorts, with the potential Vivendi hostile takeover that was kind of pushed over by Yves Guillemot earlier this year, or late in 2017, them coming out really strong with a brand new Assassin's Creed game that looked great and seemed to do really, great things for the franchise. But, just goes to show that not all devs are perfect in every way, and as upsetting as this is, I'm not in the Rainbow Six Siege community, so it's not crazy, but I thought about it. But at this point, if they decide to continue going through with this and pricing people out and kind of screwing their early adopters, it's not looking too great. So again, I'll post the picture of the breakout between the different variants of the game that for the 2018 comparison chart if you wanted to get it. But yeah, so that is super disappointing. But to make things a little bit better, our next article comes from Game Industry Biz. So the title of the article is Xbox Game Pass subscription service to include all first-party games. Quote, "Microsoft has significantly improved its Xbox Game Pass subscription service. The service was launched in June of last year and initially offered gamers access to 100 Xbox One games for a monthly subscription fee. The majority of games were older catalog titles. Now, the firm has made a significant improvement to the service by offering all Xbox first-party games onto the service. That includes new releases such as the upcoming Sea of Thieves, Crackdown 3, and State of Decay 2. End quote. So this is super interesting and really cool, especially for the people that might have been holding off or a little bit hesitant about Sea of Thieves. So now, hypothetically speaking, because Xbox Game Pass is still only $10 a month, you can get the Game Pass and play Sea of Thieves for only $10 as opposed to paying the upfront cost of $60 and getting the game outright. So if you weren't sure and you wanted to test it, you could do that. Additionally, you do not need, and I repeat, do not need Xbox Gold in order to have the Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Gold and their other subscription is just for multiplayer games. So if you wanted to play certain games in their catalog or first-party games that come out that don't require multiplayer, you do not need Gold. So hypothetically speaking, you can pay $10 a month, and if you do pay the $10 a month for a whole year, if you even get 2 games out of that entire thing on day one of their launch, which, as Xbox had said earlier, all first-party Xbox titles will be available on the Xbox Game Pass day one with their physical and downloaded counterparts. Now, the reason that this is super interesting, at least to me, is that the Xbox Game Pass, although for people on the PC side who don't have Xbox games, might also be able to be linked, and certain games will have featured links for their Xbox Play Anywhere program, which means Sea of Thieves being one of those games, you can pay the $10 premium or the $10 a month charge and be able to download and stream that game from your PC on the Microsoft Store or their universal Windows platform. So I think that's super cool. I was definitely looking to do Sea of Thieves, and I was also kind of held back at the $60 price point because I wasn't sure. But with this, I'm definitely gonna jump in for Sea of Thieves when that comes out, because I've seen it in the past. I saw trailers at E3 like everyone else has. Didn't get any hands-on with it at GDC last year, although I know some people did. It wasn't open to the general public. So that's a really cool thing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where that goes. Yeah, and I mean, hypothetically speaking, also in the future, with Xbox's Game Pass and saying all first-party games will be on there, if you really wanted to game the system whenever the new Halo comes out, if anybody's interested in that, you can play Halo for $10 rather than $60. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to be on the Universal Windows platform, and I don't think there's any precedent to say that it would be. I don't think any other Halo game has been on Windows or on the Windows platform, but if they're looking to push it, that might be a good way to do it, and I know there's a lot of people on PC that would be interested in a Halo game, so we'll see how that goes. Now, the next article, number 4 on the in the news, is this one. This article comes from IGN, and the title is "Next Dragon Age will be a live game." Quote, BioWare's Casey Hudson has said that the in-development Dragon Age game will be a, quote, live experience, which means designing a game for continued storytelling after the main story. Speaking on Twitter, Hudson confirmed that the game will remain story and character focused, but added the idea of it being live afterwards. Quote, reading lots of feedback regarding Dragon Age, and I think you'll be relieved to see what the team is working on. Story and character focus. Too early to talk details, but when we talk about live, it just means designing a game for continued storytelling after the main story. So that's actually really interesting, and it's cool that Casey and the Dragon Age team was able to get out ahead of this and say that, define what live means, especially with all the stuff going around with loot boxes and games as service. Some people might look at this title alone and say, oh, you know, they're ruining another franchise. Dragon Age is going to be a live, you know, it's going to be a games as service. That's not what they're saying. They're saying they want to make sure that it has feet after the main story's over, in a way, and having it focused on narrative and focused on storytelling is super good, especially for single-player games, which is kind of where I tend to gravitate, as I've already said, or I've said in the past. And, you know, some games can do active storytelling after the main missions really well. Other games, it just makes it seem like everything around there is kind of fodder. So, you know, as great as Skyrim is, their Radiant Quest system is kind of, you know, fetch and retrieve and kind of garbage after a while. You get tired of it, but other games like Divinity Original Sin and, you know, Divinity 2 have excellent, really deep, rich stories, and I'm hoping Dragon Age could do a comeback. I was a big fan of Origins, and I played it on the PC. Or I played it on Xbox and PC. Xbox first, then PC. I played Dragon Age, the second one, and I was not impressed. It wasn't as good as I remember the first one. I played Inquisition. Sadly, I didn't really finish it. I felt like there was way too much going on, and it was just, I don't know. It wasn't. It seemed way too spread out and not really focused, and not really a great story. So, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I'm interested in Dragon Age, and I'm hoping that BioWare can do something good with it. But it also seems like outside of Dragon Age, there are other game that they're working on that they're trying to make an always online experience, Anthem. They kind of put all their eggs in the basket with that one. So if Anthem doesn't work out, I don't really have a lot of hope for Dragon Age, and vice versa. We'll see how it goes. But it would be really cool to see another Dragon Age game out, especially if it's, you know, with precedent. Hopefully we'll get a PC release sometime soon after it goes live on Xbox and other consoles. I don't know if I think it'll be on PlayStation. But yeah, that's definitely exciting, and we'll see where that goes. And the last item on the news is from PC Gamer, and the title of the article is "The Steam Lunar New Year's Sale will reportedly return in February." Quote, you may recall that a couple of years ago, Steam followed up its big winter sale with a Lunar New Year's sale in early February. It didn't happen in 2017 for some reason, but if the word out on the Steam database is correct, it'll be coming back for 2018 in just a few weeks. Quote, the next Steam game sale is a Lunar New Year's sale and will run from February 15th to the 19th. Thanks to Steam Direct, it now takes less than 5 hours for that information to leak, unquote. That's a shorter run than most Steam sales, although it's not too far off That's a shorter run than most Steam sales, although it's not too far off the most recent Halloween and autumn sales, which lasted a week each. And while the report obviously isn't confirmed at this point, it's fair to say that Steam sales just don't happen these days without the dates being leaked well in advance, end quote. So yeah, it looks like there's going to be another Steam sale. If there's any games you've been looking to buy, I would recommend not getting them anytime soon. Just because they'll hopefully be available in some capacity at some point. If you are looking to get into games or any games that you missed during the winter sale, I'd recommend doing that. But yeah, so it'd be great if they come back, and I'm hoping that we get some sort of I don't know if they're definitely going to make something similar to it, but Clint Beastwood on YouTube makes great little trailers for each of the sales. So the last one I think was the Winds of Summer for the 2017 summer sale, and they're great. So I would highly recommend watching those videos if you really want to get psyched up for the Steam sales. If not, just keep that on your radar that's going to be coming up very soon. Next, for the upcoming games for this week, we have a few different games. So out on January 29th, we have Hollow Throne on PC. Out January 30th, we have Battery Jam on PC, Cold Iron on PC, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, The Diaries of Agent Silent Death DLC. On January 31st, we have Candleman, The Complete Journey out on PC, Galaxy Girls Poker Night DLC out on PC, Nog out on PC, The Missing Road out on PC. On February 1st, we have The Coins Challenge out on PC, Fatal 12 out on PC, Kensho out on PC, Please Close the Doors out on PC, Space Crawl out on PC, The Station out on PC, and finally, February 2nd, we have The Past Cure out on PC. Now, at the ends of each shows, I like to do the presser. If anybody has any questions, you can write in at 606.net/presser. That's PRESSER. Because it was the first show last week, I wasn't expecting anybody to write in. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns about anything that I talked about, anything you want to hear talked about, or just want to make fun of me in any way, feel free to hop on over there. So thank you again for tuning in to the first ever episode 2 of Ready's Player One podcast. This is Ready Edgemont.